Okay, we're back working on the door skin today. Today we're going to attach this bracket to the door skin that we cut off of the old car before we put this new door skin onto the door. This is the bracket that's used to mount the runner for the door glass inside of the door. There's a little tapped hole, it's like a nut sort of, that's welded onto this bracket, and it's not provided with these new door skins. You have to cut the old one off and weld it back on. So what I've done so far is I consulted my measurements that I have from the old door skin, and I've laid out where this thing ought to go, just using a regular tape measure, and some painter's tape. I made a measurement before I cut this thing off of the old door skin to the center line of the bolt from the front of the door here, and then from the top of the door, this ledge on the skin down to the middle of the bolt. So now that I have it laid out exactly where I want it, I can drill a couple of holes in this lip on the door skin, and then we come back and weld this thing on. So we'll get the camera over and get you in a little closer so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I got you zoomed in pretty tight. Now you can see the bracket on the door shell. And what I want to do right now is just make a couple of marks on this door skin, not door shell, door skin, where I want to drill a couple of holes so I can spot weld this bracket onto the skin. So I'm just going to put a couple of pieces of tape on here, and then I'll just make a mark on the tape, or really I'll just know to drill right through the middle of the tape, and that will be where I want to make the little spot welds. So if we drill a hole here and a hole when I take that bracket off, when I take this clamp off, we'll be able to make that hole. So let me just take this off for a moment. You can see when I painted this thing, I put a couple of pieces of tape on it, and I left the areas where I anticipated making the welds clean. So if I put this thing back on here, knowing where that unpainted area is, I drew a line on here that lines up this thing, and I have the center line of it right there. So I can see that this hole that I really want to drill for my spot weld should be back there. And then this one is in a pretty good position right here. Okay, so I'm going to drill these two holes, and then we'll come back and weld this piece on. Alright, so the first step is to drill a little pilot hole for the bigger drill bit, and just make sure when you do that that you don't drill through the front side of this door skin. I already hit this with a little center punch so the drill bit won't walk around on me. I don't know if you can be able to see if I got my arm in the way or not, but here goes. Now for the bigger hole. Get my safety glasses back on here. That one's through, and the other one. Alright, it started raining, so I had to move a little deeper into the garage. So the next step is to just clean up these drilled holes with a file. I'm mainly worried about the back side because that's the side that the bracket mounts up against. So any burrs on the back side need to be removed. Alright, the last step is to weld it. I'm all set up for that. There's just one tip: grind off the E-coat on the door skin before you try and do it. This is the second attempt. I already tried to weld it and I forgot to take the E-coat off, and that's a no-go. Doesn't work very well. Big mess. This should be a lot better. Here we go. Ah yes, much better. But I'd like a little more wire feed speed coming out of that. That's a good one. Hit that one a little bit more. Got a couple of little gaps in there. I'd say that's good. Not trying to build a battleship here, we're just trying to weld this bracket on. So, let's grind the tops of these guys down, and we're done.